This is going to be a session to talk about our practical tips for you guys. I guess some of you have already talked to your consultants about the pedagogical principles. Who has talked about the pedagogical principle? Please raise your hands. You can use the reactions button to raise your hand also. Okay, 2 participants raised hands. Nobody else? No one else? Okay, 3 participants raised hands. All right, so we're going to talk a little bit about it today, briefly, because this is going to give us the heads up to start the topic. Let me share with you just a moment my presentation. All right, so today the topic is practical teaching tips. So this is our first Encontro Pedagógico of the year. We're going to have once a month these Encontros Pedagógicos. So the first one we thought was very nice to talk about more practical things. So today we're going to talk about the 10 pedagogical principles because they're the basis for everything we do in the classroom. We're going to talk about giving instructions, how to give good instructions, monitoring, and feedback, okay? And then we're going to have a wrap up. All right, so we don't have many people here who have heard about our pedagogical principles. So I'm going to let you hear from our former pedagogical director about our pedagogical principles, okay? And what they mean. So let me see if I'm sharing the audio. So please pay attention because you're going to talk about it next, okay?
Hi there, my name is Patricia McKay and I'm the Academic Director here at Cel.Lep. On behalf of the entire staff, I'd like to welcome you to Cel.Lep and wish you a very nice and engaging training course.
Can you listen to it well? Is it okay? Yes? Okay, so...
Before you start though, I'd like to go with you some of our pedagogical principles. These principles permeate every single action and everything we do here at Cel.Lep. We believe in the role of the teacher to promote a sense of success, to create a low-anxiety atmosphere, and to view mistakes as windows into students' learning processes. We believe in the importance of monitoring and feedback for improved accuracy and competent production. We believe that students learn through communicative tasks that focus on meaning and on language that is relevant to their needs, starting from the initial input through controlled practice, leading to autonomous production. We believe that learners must notice different aspects of the language and experiment with them in order to foster internalization. We believe students need time to prepare and rehearse in order to express themselves more accurately, more confidently, and with actual linguistic ownership. We believe students need opportunities to recycle language so that they can retrieve it from previous exposure in order to make it part of their active repertoire. We believe it is essential we keep an English-speaking atmosphere in class. Judicious use of L1 in the classroom can help lower anxiety and maximize time devoted to English exposure. We believe in a learning-centered approach where a variety of patterns of interaction will engage students and encourage them to access different strategies for real communication. We believe in the importance of listening to the message students are conveying rather than simply attending to form. By having a real interest in who students are, we will be more aware of their needs and make each learner feel special and valued. We believe in thorough class preparation, which encompasses a deep knowledge of the content to be taught, a clear picture of students' expected outcome, and a broad understanding of the target audience. We believe that confident and informed teaching practice stems from continued professional development and a never-ending commitment to learn and promote learning. So now you know the principles that move us. Don't worry, our training team will constantly remind you of them. Have a great training course and see you around. Bye.
Okay, so who has received the document with the 10 pedagogical principles? Do you have it with you? Would you like me to share it again? So let's go to the breakout rooms, okay? Is it clear what you have to do there? Yeah, okay. Welcome back. Okay, so how was the chat? Did you share ideas? Yes. Is it easy? Don't be shy, okay? So open your cameras, talk to us. So tell me, is it easy to see, to identify the pedagogical principles in our classes? Can you see them? When you have feedback from your consultant, can you notice that everything that we say is based on those principles? Is it possible to recognize easily? Yes or no? Come on. So, just a little bit. Okay, Maria Carolina is saying that she's still going home. All right, let's see. Loise, Lohane, Monique. Can you girls notice? Dani. Okay, can you notice the pedagogical principles? Remember that we talked about the pedagogical principles. Can you notice them in our materials, in the way that we teach at Cel.Lep, the Cel.Lep way of teaching? Can you see the pedagogical principles, how they serve as a base, as Flávia?
Yes.
Doing like this. Yes. Karina is like this.
Sorry. Desculpa, meninas, mas eu sou tão chimpanzé nessas coisas que vocês nem imaginam.
It's okay, no problem. All right. So let me share then my screen. Okay, so we talked a little bit about the pedagogical principles with our peers, and now we're gonna play Kahoot. Yay! Who likes to play Kahoot with students?
Me!
Yeah. It's always fun. They love it, don't they?
Yes, yes. All the time that we have opportunity, they love. They enjoy a lot.
Kahoot is such a nice tool for them to have fun, for us to assess how much they have learned, right?
Yes.
Okay, so get your cell phones, or I don't know, and let's. I'm not a very technological person. Just let's. Okay, no, this is mine. Okay. So you get your, for the ones who don't know how to play, you enter www.kahoot.it and you use the PIN to log in the game. Or you can use your cell phone and read the QR code, okay?
Okay.
That's a project to Fundamental 1, okay?
Sorry?
Kahoot, Fundamental 1, okay?
No, for all, all ages. Doesn't have the Fundamental 2, they love it.
Okay.
You can make it really challenging for them as well. Okay, let's start our challenge. Attention, everyone. Quiz. Students should never make mistakes. True or false? Time is running. Attention to the time on the left of the screen. Okay, it's false. Why is it false? Can anyone explain to me why is it false?
Because we all make mistakes.
Yes. They are
Yes. They are?
human beings.
They are human beings. And what else?
And
For
we
us.
learn with them.
Part of
Making
the learning
mistakes.
process.
And they are learning.
Very good. They are learning. And we have to take this opportunity, right? And use it as a teaching moment. Very good. Let's go to the next one. Okay, so the points. Next, a Cel.Lep class should always start with grammar explanation. True or false?
False.
It's a competition. All right, very good. I'm very happy. Excellent. Okay, next. Attention. Students should never take risks or experiment with the language. All right. So why? Why is that?
Because it's important to take risks. This part of the process.
Very good. Anyone else would like to add something?
An
When they're
opportunity to learn.
An opportunity to learn. What else? To play with the language, right? And
They're in progress.
when they are doing this, what is happening? They are internalizing. Yeah? Excellent. Next one. Students should prepare and rehearse to be ready to express themselves more accurately and confidently. All right, very good. So what does it mean when it says rehearse? What does it mean? It says that students should rehearse, yes. But how? How does it happen? Can you give me an example?
They can have some previous activities preparing them to the final activity. And they can even write some topics to remember vocabulary structures and so on. And they practice, they usually practice some things. And then when we get to the final, to the downloading, yes, downloading. I don't remember the steps, but anyway, the final step, they are ready to do something more confidently.
Yes, they go to the autonomy part of the lesson, right? And also, one aspect of this principle is that when we ask them questions, we have to give them time to think, right? Don't rush the students. or don't skip like, okay, this one didn't answer, let me go to the next student. Can you imagine the feeling? You as a student, oh, I was going to answer and the teacher moved on to the next student. So frustrating, right? So let's go to the next one. Let's see, oh, the competition, look. Next, attention. Students should be able to review and retrieve language previously learned to activate their repertoire. Yay! So in which moments can we do this review of language? What do you think? There's no right or wrong, okay? Just give me your opinions. Which are the warm up? Yes. So before
start the class, review the previous classes.
Good. Any other moments you'd like to use to review language?
Also, in the end of each of the units.
Okay, let's go to
Can
the
be in
next
the end
one.
of the class.
Yes, as in the wrap up, right? To say, okay, so let's remember what we talked about.
Have learned today.
Very good. So let's move forward. Class should be given mostly in Portuguese, so students won't feel anxious about not understanding English. Okay, why? Why is this false?
They need to get used to the language, pronunciation, new words, new structures. And the only way is being in contact with that as much as they can.
And being in contact with the English, having a lot of input, right? Listening to a lot of English. Can they only listen to the teacher?
No.
No, right? They should have various types of input, right? Great. I think this one everybody agrees on. Classes should be in English. Okay, wow, Penny. Next, class should be always organized in rows, so order is well maintained. We follow a determined pattern that never changes. Okay, guys, can you expand a little bit on that? The correct is false. Why is it false? Students should sit always in rows, one behind the other.
Because there's some moments the students can make circles, they need to sit together with another groups of classmates, and they can change, they can talk, have moments of conversation, or I don't know, change ideas.
Okay. Which patterns do you like to use? Is there a pattern that you are more fond of, that you prefer? Groups, trios, pair work,
Pair
all
work,
of them?
sometimes circles or trios. It depends on the group, depends on the number of students.
A big table joining all the desks together. It's nice, isn't it? That's very Cel.Lep like. You make like one big table in the middle, joining all of their desks together, right? Great. Even if you have to make like two of them, no problem. Like, oh, I have too many students, I cannot make one big table. No problem, you can have two big tables. They join their desks facing one another, and then you have 2 or 3 rows in the classroom of pairs. Let's go to the next. We should listen to what the students say, the message, and not only how students say it, the form, showing real interest in it. Hey, true. Why? Why should we pay attention to whatever our student is saying?
First of all, for them to feel that we understand and comprehend them. And secondly, because we can extract more from the student when we do that. We can take more information, or we can make the students talk more and improve their English.
Excellent.
It's
I
a
would
good
like
strategy.
I would like to add that is a way to conquer their confidence on you, their trust in you, and also especially for the ones who are very shy. So if you listen, if you give them the proper attention, they can share more things with you.
Excellent, Jennifer. Thank you for your contribution. Anyone else? Nope. Let's go. Let's move on because we have a lot to talk today. We should master the content, know what to expect from students, and know them, the students. We should prepare well for classes. Okay, so we should prepare ourselves well, know well the content that we are teaching, and know our audience, know our students, right? So would you like to add something to this idea? Why is it important to know our audience, to know our students? And I think that it's very important that we should know where we want our students to get, what we want them to perform. Why is it important? Can you tell me? Even if you feel it's obvious. I want to hear it from you.
When you prepare your classes, you can feel more confident in terms of content, and you can also be more assertive when trying to help them develop the skills they need, and be closer to them as well, you know, to know you get to know what they really like, what they are really interested in, and prepare much more interesting classes.
Great. Mm-hmm.
And also, if you know them, you can adapt the content to something they like, so they will be more interested and they will learn more.
Make the classes more meaningful because you know exactly what they like, what they want to learn. Right? Excellent. Let's go to the next one. Once you graduate and take all important international certificates, there's not much else to learn. That's it. I graduated from Letras, I have my CPE, so I'm the man. False. Why is it false?
If
Why?
it was true, we won't be playing Kahoot now.
Exactly. We wouldn't be here, right? So it's always important to refresh our knowledge, learn from our peers, right? It is a never-ending process. So if you're lazy to study, this might not be the career for you, right? Teachers should never be lazy to go back and study and read everything again. So let's see our final podium. Ta-ta! Jennifer in third, Cel in second, and number one, who are you? Pew! Who's Pew? Hey! Flavia! Yeah. Very good. That was awesome. Okay, now look at this. Look at this. Read this.
Slipping through my fingers all the time. I try to catch.
Aren't you familiar with this situation? Who isn't, right? As a teacher, it happens a lot. You explain. And then when you finish your explanation, you are ready to ask them to start. You're ready to give the start. They're like, okay, what should we be doing? What should we do, teacher? Again? Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't understand. So today we're gonna talk about ways to come up with solutions for this kind of situation. Tell me a little bit how you feel when it happens. I want to know. Do you feel frustrated?
A little.
Explanation, a little frustrated.
Yeah.
What do you usually do? Do you explain so many times? Agnes is saying in the chat.
If it's an instruction for an exercise, I explain, then I pick one of my best students to role play with me what they are supposed to do. Sometimes it's easier for them to understand. It helps sometimes.
Right. So we're gonna talk about these things now with our peers, okay? So
Slipping through my fingers.
Cel.Lep with the sad face. And now, please, take a screenshot or a picture because you're going to the breakout rooms and you're going to talk for 5 minutes about a time you felt instructions given were not enough. You finished the instructions, the students started the activity, and you're like, you instantly regret it. Like, oh, I should have explained more. What do you do? Stuff like that. A time you were worried instructions would be too difficult to give and how you dealt with it. And how many phases? Flavia started to talk a little bit about that. How many phases you believe that instructions should have, okay? So let's go to the breakout rooms, talk about, for 5 minutes about it, okay? So how was the exchange of experiences? Did you have many different experiences in the room that you were, or similar? Similar experiences, very different?
Similar. Very similar.
Similar, yeah.
All right.
Doesn't matter the school, the students are the same, and the
Like
teachers'
mothers, yeah.
feelings are the same.
Just change the address.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter the state, right? Lohane?
Yeah. Yeah, because I'm from Mato Grosso, girls, so
Yeah.
it doesn't matter the weather.
Time zone, even time zone is different, yes?
Yeah.
Okay, all right. So did you talk about like solutions for this as well? or just commented on things that happened, how they happened? Did anyone came up with a solution?
We've talked about some like modeling, giving examples. Yeah, also ask a student to help us, asking the student what did he or she understood about the exercise. I guess it always helps. But I guess that I don't know, like the girls that were in the same group as me, they agree that we are teaching a generation that has a lot of problems to think, yeah, and to pay attention, observe. Most of them just want the answer, yeah, they don't want to think. One of the girls gave the example of the page. They are always asking, teacher, what's the page? What's the page? And sometimes the page is on the board, but they don't pay attention, yeah, so same problems. But I guess modeling, asking them to participate or give examples, I guess it always helps.
Very nice. Anyone else would like to add something? That was...
Yes, we talked about that in our group, and I believe as in our group we all work with the little kids. We talked about using the puppet for modeling, and another participant mentioned that the instructions should be short and objectives, which I think is important as well.
I remember there is a course that I did, I think a meeting about ICQs. And you, Dani, you told me once about the questions, that you can make questions for the students to make sure that they understood the idea of the activity. So you start to ask the student, what do you need to do? How many? Or according to the activity, you make questions related to the activity. For the students and ask, it's yes or no, is it correct that it's incorrect?
Instruction checking questions, right?
Yes.
Okay, so Jennifer wrote here, some are more visual, so modeling activities and choose one of them to model is a good idea. Yeah, and use your board to help you, use the puppet. Anyway, so you can just try many different ways, right? So now, let me see if I can show you the next screen, or if we're already going to play a game. Oh, we're gonna play a game again.
Yes, game.
Game, yeah. Okay,
Game,
so I'm
teacher.
going to put in the chat a link for you. And you are going, it's okay, Flavia. Thank you very much for your participation, okay? Thank you, really. So I'm gonna put you in the breakout rooms. I'm gonna give you a link, and you can help each other solving this game, okay? It's a fill in the blanks game. So let's see. Okay, so first I'm gonna put this in the chat. Okay. So now you're going to the breakout rooms, okay? And you're going to, this is in fact a little bit more cooperative because you're gonna help each other to answer, to put the words in the correct place, okay? So do you agree with the sentences? Do you use these tips? Do you try to follow these tips? Is there something that you always do? Share with us your ideas about it. Is there anything here that was new for you?
Well, I try to be very objective with my information, but sometimes I'm kind of a talkative person. So sometimes I think I talk a lot and maybe some of the information got lost. But I try to organize my thoughts, organize the ideas, to keep clearly in my mind to be possible to pass for them the information.
Okay. So here the first one says, plan your key instructions and the language, simple and clear language you can or will use. Always try to level your English according to your audience, right? According to your class. Make sure instructions are complete, explicit, and in a sensible order. Include only essential information. Slow down a bit if necessary, mainly by inserting pauses to allow students time to take in each piece of information. Be careful how much you explain at a time. There are some activities that you have to break your explanation, right, in steps. Don't start explaining until all students are fully attentive. So this is going to take you time, but at least you make sure everyone will be on the same pace as you, right? Even with beginners, use English whenever possible. And how do you make it possible? Do you have any idea or tip to give us? So imagine you have a very, very beginner class, a group of beginners. They understand very little of English. How can you give instructions? Use only English. Have any tips?
Gestures.
Something that helps, like gestures, body language can help a lot in these cases.
And pointing everything that is possible. The book, the board, drawing.
Yeah.
Miming.
Miming. Very good. And with which groups do we do this the most? Educação infantil, right?
Young learners.
Can the educação infantil teachers be very still or stiff giving a class? No, they have to play a lot with their bodies, with their faces, right? Make gestures, show pictures. That's how we're not gonna have to use Portuguese, right? Using a lot of images, realia too, okay? So this is the number 8, show and gesture all you can. The more you show, the faster you can speak and the less you have to say, right? You don't have to talk a lot when you have things to show. Soften imperatives with request form, like could you repeat that, please? Which provides a more natural model. It sounds more like natural English, right? And it doesn't matter that they don't understand could you in the beginning. Eventually, they will understand everything that you're saying. Check if students have understood your instructions before starting the activity, right? This is very normal to be something that we forget, but we should always remember to check if they understood. And how can we check? And what are the ideas that you have? How can we check students understood what we just explained?
Well, they usually tell us in Portuguese.
They usually tell us in Portuguese, even if we don't ask, right? Many times they just volunteer. They just voluntarily start saying, então a gente tem que fazer isso, aquilo, right? It's usually like this. And how can we do? actively do to check if they understood? Let's imagine that nobody said that in Portuguese. So how can you check if they understood? Can I ask, do you understand?
No.
No, why not?
I asked them, what do you have to do? So what do you have to do now?
What happens when we just ask, do you understand? What usually happens?
They will say just yes or no, like they didn't get anything, but maybe they get something, but not completely. So will they say just no to everything, and it's not real. They get something, always they get something.
Sometimes they say that they understood just because they want to get over with it soon. Sometimes they say that they understood because they are shy. They don't want to show their colleagues, that their classmates, that they didn't understand. So there are many reasons why they're going to say yes to you. But we cannot take this word as real proof of their understanding. So we should use ICQs. We should ask them to repeat the instructions, right? So these are some of the ways. This one, the number 12, I think is very important. Do not hand out material before you finish explaining the task. What happens if you do this?
They don't pay attention, never.
Yes. So you give them the paper, the worksheet, whatever it is, they will just like start doing it, and then you are trying to explain and they are already doing it. So this is the last step of your explanation. Show them the worksheet, show them the whatever material you're going to use, but first finish all your explanation. 13, as soon as the students begin an activity, sweep the class with your eyes to ensure all are on task. So, you know, they started the activity, you cannot just go back to your book or go back to your desk. You have to take that look and see if everybody is on task, right? And 14, set a time limit and tell students how long they have to finish the activity. Just like we're doing here. When you go to the breakout room, let's say I have 5 minutes. So always do this so students won't feel like, oh, I'm surprised because I thought I was gonna have more time, right? And then, so students are at it now. They are doing the activity. So what should we do? As teacher, can I just go back to my computer and, you know, like fill the attendance, or I don't know, get some material, let the students work by themselves? Can I do this? Or should I? Can, but should I? No, right, I shouldn't do this. This is the time to monitor, and monitor is something that we have to do with a purpose, okay? So now in the breakout rooms, we're gonna talk quickly about these 3 things: what the purpose of monitoring is, how to monitor effectively, and how to monitor a large group. I think the third one, everyone wants some kind of tip, right? So take a picture here of the screen or print the screen, and you're going back to the room to share the knowledge you have with your peers, okay? All right, how was the sharing of ideas? Good?
Pretty good.
Oh, do you have similar ideas or no?
I realize we all struggle a lot.
The life of a teacher. All right. Did you learn something new? Did you learn something new from your peers? Some idea or some reason why you have to monitor that you haven't thought about before?
I think Louise has a good strategy. Louise, please share with the group. Because she has, sorry, Louise, I know it's your turn to talk, but she has a big group. She works with
going.
big groups. So I think she has good strategies to work with her groups.
I
Can you
said to
share?
the girls that when I'm monitoring the peers, when I got their mistakes in the end of the activity, I write the mistakes on the board. Dani has told me that in our feedbacks, and I saw that was a good strategy because they don't feel anxious. Oh, I don't know how to do this. Sometimes we help them in the pair work. Oh, you can say this inside of that, but this is a good strategy to write on the board in a general
Delayed
way.
correction.
Yeah.
So you write on the board so you don't have to correct them like
On the
individually?
spot.
Yes, in the
Okay.
moment that they are speaking and practicing, you know? So they don't know why I'm saying that. Okay.
Mhm. And who made the mistake?
Yes,
You
that's
do it in a way that they don't notice who made the mistake. Okay? If they used a certain word, you might change the word so they don't notice exactly who it was. So I'm gonna share with you some set of tips, okay? And since we're a little bit pressed for time, can you see my screen?
Yes.
Oh my God, it's
Okay.
too small. It's great.
Too small?
Thank you.
Oh, okay.
Better now.
So what the purposes of monitoring can be among others. So here I have only some. So don't worry because later we're gonna share this material with you, okay? So some of the reasons are to be aware of how the class is getting on, whether the pace of the class is too fast or if it's too slow, and which students may need individual attention, okay? To ensure that learners are on task. Some re-instruction, modeling of the activity, or prompting may be required. So when you are walking among students, you may notice that, oh, I need to instruct them again. I need to model it out again. I need to give them some words to help them achieve successfully the outcome of the activity. To listen for good use and areas to work on in the target language. So you're going to listen to them, not only to see whatever mistakes they're making, but also the good use. And then you give feedback later about whatever good use they made. To assess both individuals and the whole class, monitoring provides clues to individual and group difficulties and also the progress of individuals and the group. To assess the development of fluency. So they are in a more, they are in a freer practice, so it's gonna be easier for you to notice the development of their fluency. To assess the task itself. Is the task working? Can they fulfill whatever was asked them to do? To plan for next classes and to maintain discipline. This one, I think I see teachers doing a lot. I'm going to leave my comfort space here in the front because I want them to see that I am listening to them. I'm close to them. I'm checking if they're doing the activity, but also like this is the last one for the reason that this is not the main one. It's to help you, but this is not the main one. And it cannot be limited to this. And some ways to monitor effectively. So unobtrusive monitoring is most effective. And it is often best done from behind the learner. So we're talking here about position, really. We're talking about where you stand, near the students, okay? If they're talking like this, they're sitting like this, and you come and you appear right in front of them, probably they will stop doing whatever they were doing to look at you, maybe because they think that you're gonna say something, that you're gonna give them some kind of new instruction. So try to listen to them from behind them, okay? Make sure that there is a clear route around the classroom. You need space to walk, right? So the students cannot be all, you know, their desks all like very, very near, so you can even walk. Then arrange seating so that all students are visible from wherever the teacher is positioned. Don't have students turn their back at you and impossible for you to see them, or, you know. Listen to learners. Do not do the talking. This is not your time to talk. This is your time to listen. Be available to all learners, but select only some of them to focus on in each lesson, in each class, and give feedback later, okay? So this tip is very good for large groups. Dani, I have 30, I have 45, 42. Last class I had a teacher who had 42. So I had 42, I have 35, 30 students. How can I listen to all of them? You won't listen to all of them in one class. You will have to prepare yourself to listen to a selected number of students each class, okay? And take notes for future feedback. This is what Lois and Lorraine were talking about. And to take notes of whatever you heard that you want to comment on later. Take notes of it. Honestly, the best ways to carry around your little Cel.Lep notebook with you, take notes of it. When the activity is over, you already have your board there with all the language you want to comment on, and then you get their attention to you and say, hey guys, let's see this one here. How can we make it better? Never say, oh guys, this is wrong, okay? This is bad, this is aggressive. Don't say it like this. So how can we make this sentence better? Okay, how can we improve this? This is not so good the way it is. Let's improve it. Let's make it better, okay? And then you will see that sometimes they even say like, oh, I made that mistake. Oh, that was me, teacher. I said it wrong. Mainly teenagers. They sometimes they don't care. So that was me. Okay, but use this. This is so good. So, and what do I do with the data collected during monitoring? Many things, right? I do correction. I do meaningful praising. So I say to them, oh, that was very good. Specifically show them what they said or what they used that was really good. Don't just say, oh, very good. And then the student says, okay, but what was very good? Think about something. We are very precise when the student makes a mistake, aren't we? We point exactly the mistake the student made. Okay, Joãozinho, you forgot the S here in the present, because you have to say he studies, not he study, right? So we are very precise. But when we praise, we're not precise. We just say, oh, nice, oh, very good. But what was very good? Maybe Joãozinho doesn't have it clear what was the good thing that he did. So why not pointing out, okay? Plan your next steps with the data you collected, and you give effective feedback, okay? Since we don't have much time, we're gonna talk all together here. What is feedback? That's my first question. What is feedback? Let's see what you have in your mind about feedback. There's no right or wrong, so just say what comes to your mind about feedback. What do you think feedback is? Guys, don't forget the attendance list, okay? It's in the chat. Click on the Google
Feedback,
form.
I think it's feedback is everything you need to improve.
Only that
One
you need
thing.
to improve.
One
No.
thing.
It's a time that you can praise your students. It's important to do that.
To talk about their progress.
Beside the improvements.
Mm-hmm. Okay. And when should we give feedback? When? Again, there is no right or wrong for these questions, okay? Just want to share ideas here. When should we give feedback? Which are the good moments to give feedback?
At the end of a class?
At the end of a class is a good moment.
Any end of the activities?
In the end of activities. After they performed an activity like pair work or something like this. What else? What other moments? Their tests, maybe. Because tests are a reality. We're not talking about tests here, but they do exist, right? So after a test, right? Mainly if you have oral tests, right? It's a good moment to give them feedback also. Okay. And why? Why should we give feedback? What is the reason to give feedback to students?
To tell them if they're doing a good job, or if they have to commit more. Like
to stimulate a positive learning and for them to be happy with their conquests and to correct their mistakes.
Mm-hmm. Good. Like motivational feedback. Yes, it's good too.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Monique said to recognize their skills as well. Yeah. Pointing to them like, oh, this
And
you're
to
doing
recognize
very...
their weakness.
Yes.
Their weaks, yeah.
Okay, Marcia, no problem. Thank you for coming. And my last question is how? How should we give feedback? How do you think? Again, not right or wrong. Whatever you think is...
Saying good job.
Politely from Maria. Yes, first and foremost, politely. Yeah. So thank you, Vanessa. Do you know, like giving a feedback, like a sandwich, you know? You say something positive. Have you ever heard about this?
Yes.
You say something positive.
Then something
then you
negative.
say something that they should work on more, give more attention to that. And then in the end, what can you give them to help them? How, right? The ways they can improve. Okay, so you give them some tips to help them improve, right? You help them because most of the times they don't know how, right? They could improve.
And I also think it's important to give them feedback individually.
Very good, individually. It's very important. Thank you for saying this, because we don't want anyone to feel embarrassed, right? To feel that they're put on the spot and things like this. So here I have a set of paragraphs talking about what feedback is, when, and why. I'll send it later to you, okay, because of the time. So in order to offer students effective and motivational feedback, make sure to get to know learners and gather information about them while you're monitoring. Offer praise based on effort and evidence of learning. Talk to learners about areas that need improvement. Identify and provide strategies learners may use to improve their performance. And now I have some homework for you. Please take a picture of this screen. Okay, this is homework. So you're going to choose one of the following activities and describe in a detailed way how you would give instructions, how you would monitor, and which aspects you would focus your feedback on. Okay? You write this on Word, okay? Just use simple language. Don't mind about, you know, like, just use your everyday language, okay? Describe in a detailed way how you would give the instructions for this activity, how you would monitor this activity, and which aspects you would focus your feedback on. Think about a group, okay, that you have. If you don't have any group in these levels, you can find other activities and do this, okay? And then you're gonna send it to me and I'll give you feedback about it, okay? So my last question for you, what are you taking with you from this session today? What are you taking with you from this session? And now I want feedback.
Never give their books before finishing your explanations.
Yeah, that's great. How to monitor them, Maria wrote here in the chat. What else? The delayed correction, yeah? Someone, the girls said.
Select some students to focus in a class.
You have a big class, select some of them to focus on. Each day you can focus on a different group, right? Remember that the Cel.Lep class is a cycle. You have right? So you start with the awareness moment, appropriation moment, and you finish with autonomy moment. Ideally, this should happen inside of one class, okay? And so if you do this, every class you have something to monitor. Every class you're going to have a speaking task in the end, the autonomy activity, okay? Decoding, United Kids, even the little ones, that is the class cycle, okay? So in every class you should have a speaking task. So every class you should be able to monitor and give them feedback, okay? Yes, feedback is important, and how to give feedback, knowing how to give feedback is very important, right? If you are, when you work and you don't receive feedback from your boss, how do you feel? You don't know if you're doing well, right? You want feedback. You want to know how you're doing. Okay, so this is my email for the ones who are not with me this year. You can do the homework and you can send it to me, okay? And I'll write back to you and give you feedback about the your plan, okay? Okay, so that's it for today. Thank you very, very much, really, for all of you to being here. That was a pleasure to listen to all of you, to get to know the ones that I didn't know before. And see you. Have a good night.